Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. But at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? From the Flames, Episode 20. The farther they traveled, the more Willow was able to think back on the strange questions Sigurd had asked her. Why had he been so interested in what she could do, and if she needed Val? "I'm making too much out of this," she scolded herself. "His questions were perfectly reasonable for—" Before Willow could complete her thought, she felt a shiver pass through her body. She'd never felt this way before. Something was wrong. "Did you feel that?" she asked, tightening her grip on Val. "Feel what?" Hawk asked. "I feel it," Val said. "What is it?" she asked. "What is what?" Hawk asked, sounding confused. "Be quiet," Will ordered in a low voice. "It's the enemy," Val said. "The enemy?" she repeated, looking around them, searching for them in the trees lining the road. She saw nobody. "Hurry! We must get on the other side of the mist! Move! Quickly!" Willow ordered. Hawk snapped the reins, urging the horse to move faster. The horse, which had been walking, now went into a gallop, his legs moving as fast as it'd go. Over the sounds of the horse's hooves pounding into the dirt, the wagon's wheels creaking, and Hawk's cries of encouragement, Val ordered, "Close your eyes and concentrate. You sensed them before I did. If you concentrate, you'll be able to find them." Closing her eyes while she tried to stay on top of the bouncing wagon, Willow attempted to concentrate. But she didn't know what she was concentrating on. "Infuse your want on the world around you," Val whispered. "They are most likely behind a concealing wall. Normally such a wall would be untraceable, but you can trace their whereabouts. Will yourself to go beyond the wall. Let your desire to know their location fill every fiber of your body. Only then will you know." Doing as she was told, she felt her mind and body become one with the same purpose, finding where the enemy was located. Slowly, every iota of her mind and body were filled with the desire to find them. Only then did she send her desire out into the world, as she'd done when she'd created that boat on the island of Gillenholm. Like a bat's echolocation ability, Willow sent out her will, waiting for it to bounce back to her. After what felt like hours, she found them. Opening her eyes, she was still unable to find them. But with every fiber in her body, she knew their location. "They're in the treetops along the road. How much farther?" "A minute or two. It's right ahead of us." Suddenly, something shot out of the treetops toward Willow. The object, a long, light brown wooden arrow, struck the wagon next to Willow's leg. Willow stared at the quivering arrow as if she'd never seen anything like it before. As if that arrow had been the battle cry declaring the start of the attack, another arrow shot out of the forest, this one passing within inches of her face. "Send your icicles at them!" Val ordered as more arrows flew at them. Some arrows flew completely over the cart. Others landed in the dirt road behind them. More thudded into the wagon, coming so close to them that Willow thought they'd hit her or Hawk at any second. "But—" "Do it!" Val ordered. Another 3 arrows came at them. This time they flew close to Hawk's hands and legs. One arrow grazed his leg, just breaking the skin. "We're almost there!" Hawk cried, his head down and back hunched, trying to make himself less of a target. Lifting her arms in vow, she concentrated on the locations of the concealed men, pretending they were practice targets. Once she located the nearest ones again, she thought, "Icicles!" A dozen icicles suddenly appeared and took off into the forest. A horrible scream carried from the distant woodline. Willow knew at least one of the icicles struck its target. Before she could send another volley of icicles at the men who were continuing to attack them, the wagon she rode upon passed through the boundary mist. "They can't get us in here," Hawk said, not slowing the horse down. "The barrier prevents anyone from attacking us." True to his words, Willow heard arrows flying at them, but none passed through the misty boundary line. They bounced off the mist as if it were a glass barricade, hard and impassable. "How did you know they were there?" Hawk asked. "I sensed them," Willow said, not able to explain further. "Thank the gods you did, and that you were able to fight back. Otherwise we never would have made it out of there alive," Hawk said, his eyes and tone full of admiration. "How much longer until we reach home?" "At this pace, less than 10 minutes. The second they arrived at the house, Willow jumped down from the wagon and ran into the house, yelling Astrid's name. She found Astrid sitting in her office. "What has happened?" "We were attacked on the way back from town!" Willow almost screamed. "Calm down, child," Astrid directed. She looked Willow over quickly. "Are either of you hurt?" "No, but it was very close. The arrows were coming at us from all sides, and—" "Come, sit," Astrid ordered. Astrid waved her hand toward the chair Willow had occupied the first time she'd conversed with Astrid. When Willow had taken her seat, Astrid said, "Tell me exactly what happened." "We were on our way back when Val and I felt a presence. It was the enemy. Not even a minute after we realized who they were, they started to fire arrows at us." "You sensed them? Were you able to locate them? Do you know how many?" "Yes, kind of, and no." Willow swallowed back a wave of sudden hysteria. Here she was, calmly talking about being attacked, when in reality she'd been terrified. She'd never been attacked before, and didn't know how to react. Even when people had been hunting her, she'd never really believed they'd follow through on their threats. But now she knew people would try to hurt and kill her, and she'd never know what their real motivation was. It took a lot of effort, but Willow shoved these thoughts to the back of her mind and concentrated on what Astrid wanted to know. "I could sense that they were in the trees, but I couldn't tell how many individuals there were. It was almost as if they were a group of globs, indistinguishable from another. Some globs were bigger than others, but I have no idea how many actual people there were." Willow's words started coming faster and faster, each word she uttered taking the breath from her body. "After I found them, Val was ordering me to attack them, and I threw icicles at them, and I know I hit at least one of them because they screamed and—" "Breathe," Astrid ordered. Willow took a deep breath, immediately feeling better. Her head became clearer. The jumbled images which had been clogging her thoughts became organized and comprehensible. "Hitting a target while the wagon was moving means your powers are growing, and that you are becoming a better shot. Sensing them also means the range of your powers is expanding. These are all good things," Astrid said, her eyes unreadable. "Are you ready to continue your story?" Willow nodded. "After I threw icicles at them, one of them screamed. Before I could send more at them, Hawk and I passed through the barrier. Even though we were safe, they continued to fire their arrows at us. Their arrows just bounced off the mist." "Stupid men," Astrid said, her tone scornful. "You would think that after all the times my land has been attacked, and after all their failures, that they would stop trying. But alas, the enemy is not always wise. Remember that. Your enemy is not always wise in their actions. Some things they do border on stupid. Most of their acts, however, are logical and well thought out. But not always. Could you tell which enemy it was? The last was asked, almost as an afterthought. Which enemy? You mean there is more than one enemy? Willow felt as if she'd been hit by a ton of bricks. What did Astrid mean by her question? Surely there was only one enemy, the Blesa, wasn't there? Oh yes, child. You are now surrounded by enemies. Some want your powers. Others fear you for what you can do. Even more wish that you had never found Val and became the Diviana. Drivian, Blesian, it matters not which group people belong to. They are all the same. Most, however, will hate you because of what you offer. Change. People fear change, and that is what you are going to give Alfeyju. Change of such a magnitude that when you are done, people aren't going to recognize this island. I'm surrounded by enemies, Willow repeated hollowly. Great. Just what I wanted to hear. Do I have any friends or allies? Or am I all alone? You will never be alone with me at your side, Hawk said from the doorway of Astrid's study. I would rather die than betray you. I too am at your side, always ready to guide you along the correct path, Astrid said with a small smile. Tomorrow we shall see how well you can sense those behind a concealing wall. Now that I know you have the gift, we must train hard, so you will never be caught unaware again. For now, however, both of you must rest and try to relax. Being attacked is enough to frighten anyone. Even you? Willow asked in a quiet voice. Smiling at the question, Astrid said, Even me, child. The old don't become that way by being stupid. Fear is a healthy and life-saving emotion. Those who don't fear are fools. The sun had barely risen more than a few feet when Astrid ordered Willow and Hawk outside into the backyard. She led them to the edge of the forest. The forest was old and thick, making it impossible for Willow to follow the dirt path for more than a foot or so. Before the sun rose this morning, Astrid said, facing Willow and Hawk, I put out targets in the forest along the path. They start where the forest starts and stop at the old well. All around that area, I've put a concealing wall. Since they are not people, and I am only able to do so much with magic, I am unable to create the animosity you would normally feel from an enemy. You should, however, be able to sense where they are because of the magical trace the wall emits. Every day I will put out these targets, a different number each day, and it will be your task to find them and attack them. You will have 10 minutes to do this. When you hear the horn Hawk will sound, you will return and tell me how many targets there were. Do you understand? Yes, mistress, I understand, Willow said. She walked to the entrance of the forest. Your time starts now, Hawk cried, and Willow took off into the forest at a light jog. The second she entered the forest, she felt shivers of awareness. The feeling was like the awareness she'd felt the day before, but it felt slightly different. The difference was minute, but it was there, just as Astrid had said it would. And now that she knew what the shivers meant and how to use them, Willow started searching for her targets. 10 minutes later, the horn sounded, telling Willow to go back to the house. She felt drained both physically and mentally, but she was happy with herself. She'd found 10 targets and successfully hit each one. Walking out of the forest, she saw Astrid sitting in a cushioned chair, sipping tea at a round garden table, waiting for her. You look happy, Astrid commented. I am, Willow said, collapsing in the chair across from Astrid. How many did you find? She asked, pushing a cup of tea toward Willow. 10. I found and hit 10 targets, Willow said, drinking the tea down in one gulp. The tea was refreshing, but light. Exactly what she needed after her search for the targets. 10. Oh dear, only 10, Astrid said, not bothering to hide her disappointment. How many were there? Willow asked, getting a sinking feeling in her stomach. 20. There were 20 targets altogether. 20? You expected me to find 20 targets in only 10 minutes? Are you crazy? Willow asked, the words coming out of her mouth before she knew it. Crazy? Astrid asked. Her eyes became as hard as her mouth. This was a side of Astrid Willow had never seen before. This was an angry Astrid. You should be able to do 20 in 5 minutes, if not hit more in a shorter time. In the real world, they would be people trying to kill you, and there would be many more than 20. And if you miss even one, you might end up dead. Is that what you want to happen? Do you want to die because you are lazy and have no attention to detail? Of course not, mistress, Willow said, her voice becoming contrite. I will train much harder. I didn't mean to sound as unappreciative. You better not have, girl, Astrid said, sitting back in her seat. Now that I see how much you must learn, I believe yesterday's success was a fluke. Luck smiled upon you, and you cannot afford to depend on luck in the future. From this day forward, you will do this exercise at least twice a day. Only completing this exercise once a day will do nothing for you except give you the false sense that you are ready to take on the world. In reality, you are not ready for the world. In addition, before you enter the forest, you will sense how many targets there are, relaying that information to Hawk. The more accurate you are, the better. Yes, mistress, Willow said, trying to get on Astrid's good side. I'll do better, believe me. I do, Astrid said, unnamed emotions in her voice. I do. Many years before you and Hawk, I trained another young person. He was overconfident and believed he could do anything. I was too lenient with him in his training. I allowed him to leave this haven when he wasn't ready, and I will always regret my actions and decisions. What happened to him? Willow asked, her voice soft. That is not important, Astrid said. What is important is that I will not allow you to become overconfident and believe you can do more than you really can. Your rest time is over. Go practice creating those ice daggers. Don't fire them at anything. Only create them and prepare to shoot them when and if I say so. Willow got to her feet, grabbing Val, and did as she was told. This work is released under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it. Remix it, re-record it, transcribe it, share it. Just don't sell it or change the terms of the license. Your creation must be released under an Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.